This week on Alan's Antics, written by Nigel Lawson. Britain outside the EU would stand tall as a free and prosperous nation. In 4 months' time, the British people are likely to be asked to take the most important decision for the future of our country in their lifetimes. It's not about Europe as such, it's about whether we should remain within a deeply misguided and troubled institution known as the European Union. Above all, we would become once again a self-governing democracy with a genuinely global rather than a little European perspective. We would prosper, we would be free, and we would stand tall. And that is what this referendum is all about. Do you remember when in every newspaper, whatever their particular brand of politics, they always labelled Nigel Farage as a complete, utter lunatic and a right-wing fringe idiot? Well, not anymore, it seems. From the express.co.uk, Nigel Farage, it costs £55 million a day to be an EU member. And for what? If we remain in this union, we will be even more vulnerable to terrorism and to the kinds of scenes we saw in Cologne on New Year's Eve. The logical, practical and safe thing to do is to cut our ties with a failing political union and take back control of our lives. All it needs to defeat the big banks, the vested interests in the big businesses and our craven politicians is for you to believe in Britain and vote to leave this European Union. Do you think we're good enough? The ban on cash is coming soon. This is starting to become very concerning. The momentum to ban cash, and in particular high denomination notes like the €500 and the $100 bills, is seriously picking up steam. The European Central Bank president emphatically disclosed that he's strongly considering phasing out the €500 note. As long as there's been human civilization, there has been crime. Crime predates cash, and it will exist long after they attempt to ban it. Perhaps even more hilarious is that many of these bankrupt governments have become so desperate for economic growth that they now count illegal drug activity and prostitution in their GDP calculations, both of which are typically transacted in cash. From WikiLeaks.org. EU NAV4 Med, Operation Sophia 6-monthly report, June 22nd to December 31st, 2015. On the 17th of February 2016, WikiLeaks is releasing the classified report about the first 6 months of Operation Sophia, the EU military intervention against refugee boats in Libya and the Mediterranean. Libyan press has reported that US, UK and French special forces have already arrived. There is no public admission by the Western countries. Within Europe, Italy and the UK have been the driving forces behind the military intervention. The plan was formally approved by representatives from all 28 countries on the 18th of May 2015. Now, I've included in full both documents in PDF form, and they are available on www.RadioFreeUK.org/blogs/Alan under the title WikiLeaks UNAV4 Med Operation Sophia. You'll find all the documents there, and they are very, very detailed. And it just shows you how far the EU is planning to push its military and police forces right up onto the shores of North Africa. If they're prepared to send the EU police and military onto the shores of Northern Africa in Libya, then what's to stop them deciding that they need to send those same police and those same military onto our shores of the UK, with the complete authority of the European Union and the rubber stamp from Westminster to take control of you and your family. Officials forced to act over job ads that exclude Britons. An express investigation found companies were actively seeking foreign-speaking employees. A foreign jobs row erupted after dozens of vacancies on a government-backed recruitment site required applicants to speak Polish, Romanian, Bulgarian and Russian. Agencies are free to advertise for work with language requirements where it is necessary for the role. But an investigation by the newspaper found companies were actively seeking security guards, cleaners, customer service advisors and teaching assistants fluent in languages other than English. Then how do British workers who can't speak any of those languages get a look-in for those warehouse jobs? £7 or £8 an hour for a security officer in London and desirably fluent in Hungarian, Polish, Romanian, Russian or Bulgarian? What if you don't speak any of those languages? Well, that's you out of the running then. Back to the unemployment line for you. Leave.eu on Brussels' plan to delay demands for more money and power until after the referendum. Quote, the EU is holding back demands on an extra €20 billion, wider access to benefits and public services for EU migrants, and a convention granting it new powers to overrule us on issues like prisoner votes until after the referendum. Now, here's a story from Breitbart that you might have missed because it's quite short, but it does show you just how sneaky some of these people can be. An Egyptian is on trial in Greece, accused of presenting himself as a Syrian refugee. For the second time, there was no suggestion that he engaged in any other illegal activities in Greece. If convicted, he faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. Is he a migrant worker looking for benefits, or is he a genuine refugee doing these things out of desperation? We may never know. Well, that was just a little snapshot of the week on Alan's Antics on RadioFreeUK.org. To hear the full recordings and a whole lot more, go to RadioFreeUK.org. And there'll be more next week. Take care and have a safe one.